Welcome to the latest here from the expert. This series is people to better understand multiple diseases and provide tools to navigate their MS with more knowledge and confidence. Our intention is to help out the disease, wellness strategies, and much more. I'm Sue Whitaker, and I'll be your moderator. I was diagnosed with MS 26 years ago, and since that time, I was an active person before, and I've continued to be as active as I can to stay as healthy as I can. I'm current ambassador with the BC Ambassador Program, and I have been volunteering with the MS Society probably for the last 20 years. Our presenters today are Carla Holton and Nancy Bertram, who are both staff with the MS Society of Canada. Before we get started with our presentation, let's just go over a couple of housekeeping items. Oh, let me just... Great. Your microphones have been muted and will remain muted for the entirety of the presentation. The webinar is being recorded for future viewing on our YouTube channel, and no participant names or identifying information will be displayed for this reason. If you have a question, please type it into the chat box on the right of your screen on Zoom, and we will try to get to as many questions as possible following the formal presentation. Please note that questions pertaining to specific personal situations can't be answered in this type of venue, and we recommend contacting your personal MS healthcare team. Last of all, please note that the MS Society of Canada does not approve, endorse, or recommend any specific product or therapy, but provides information to assist individuals in making their own decisions. Now, let me pass the microphone over to our presenters, Carla Holton and Nancy Bertram.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. As Sue mentioned, my name is Nancy, and in today's webinar, we will be talking about the importance of activity in MS. This is a really large topic, and in the time we have today, we're only just going to be able to scratch the surface of it, but hopefully when you leave, you will have some new information about the importance of keeping active and some of the tips and tricks that go along with keeping active in MS. So I want to start off by doing just a really brief discussion about what MS is, just so that when we talk about some of the benefits in MS, we'll be able to relate it back to what may be happening with the disease process. So some facts about MS. The course of MS is different for everyone. No two people are going to have the same course of disease. No two people are going to have the same symptoms. Everyone's course with the disease is going to be different. And symptoms can vary from day to day or even hour to hour. And this may be important when we're talking about being active, because if you do fatigue yourself or overheat yourself, you may find that you may have extra symptoms in the afternoon, or you may want to take a break from doing heavy duty activity if you're seeing an increase in symptoms that day or in that moment. So Canada has one of the highest rates of MS in the world, but life expectancy does not change with MS, although quality of life might, depending on the symptoms and the amount of disability that somebody may have. So what is MS? Really briefly. It's believed to be an autoimmune disorder that affects the central nervous system. Now that includes your brain, your spinal cord, and your optic nerves, which are the nerves behind your eyes. Now these neurons in particular have a coating on them called myelin. And myelin is a coating that covers the neurons in your central nervous system, and it helps to speed up and cause the smooth transmission of messages from the brain out to the body. I keep clicking the wrong thing. So as I mentioned, the neurons in your central nervous system have myelin on them. And for whatever reason in MS, the immune system decides that myelin is bad. It goes in there and it eats away at it, causing scar tissue. And over time, if the damage continues in the same spot, you may actually see damage to the axon underneath that myelin. But the scars and the damage to that axon are what causes the interruption in those messages going from the brain out to the spinal cord, out to the body. So some of the key players in MS are certainly your blood, which has your immune cells in it, and in particular T cells. And so the T cells are the cells that help you fight off infection, etc., your immune system cells. And then we have the blood-brain barrier, and that's the brain barrier, or the barrier that goes around your brain and spinal cord. And its goal ultimately is to keep those T cells out. For whatever reason in MS, those T cells do manage to get across that blood-brain barrier, and they do get into the central nervous system, where they can then attack the myelin that is coating the neurons in that central nervous system. Now we have the really big word on this slide here, it's oligodendrocyte. An oligodendrocyte is a cell that helps to create new myelin or reproduce myelin. That's its sole goal, is to reproduce myelin. And so, however, it's a very slow acting cell. It's not very quick at what it does. It takes a long time to actually reproduce myelin. So when this damage occurs within the central nervous system to those neurons is where we see the outward symptoms. So wherever that damage is occurring, you may see an outward symptom of MS due to that damage. This is a list of the most common symptoms. There are certainly more symptoms that some individuals may see, and some individuals may not have all of these. You may only have some of them. Fatigue is one of the most common symptoms, and it is one that we're going to talk about a little bit more in depth today, just because of the impact that exercise can have on fatigue and fatigue can have on exercise. And about 75% of individuals with MS will have some form of fatigue due to their MS. Certainly, vision can be impacted if the optic nerves are impacted. Spasticity or muscle spasms and stiffness, gait, so how and ability to walk, bladder and bowel. Some individuals have some pain associated with MS, certainly numbness, tingling in the extremities, hands, fingers, feet, that kind of thing. Cognition, brain fog, etc. And some individuals have depression as well. So that is MS in a nutshell, and as quickly as I can sort of put it out there today. And so now we'll get more into the exercise movement side of things. And so for many, many, many years, people were told not to exert themselves, not to put their bodies under physical stress, not to do a lot of exercise. Go home, rest, relax, and that'll be helpful. Well, the research hasn't shown that to be accurate. In fact, regular exercise in moderation isn't harmful. Now, we're meaning moderation for you. So not moderation necessarily for the general population, not moderation for a cohort of individuals living with MS, but moderation for each individual. And that will be different depending on the impact fatigue has on you, depending on your MS symptoms, depending on where you are in the course of the disease. So the truth is actually that exercise can really help the unaffected areas that aren't affected by MS, and it can also help the partially affected areas. And so exercise is not going to prevent your next relapse. It isn't going to change the course of the disease, but it might help improve function or independence. It might help to lessen the disability that may come along with MS. The idea that if you don't use it, you could lose it. So let's use it so that hopefully we're not having the double impact of both the MS symptoms as well as perhaps a sedentary lifestyle where we're losing more than maybe we need to. Research is also showing that exercise can help to promote neuroplasticity and remyelination, among other things. There's lots of areas of research going on in exercise or movement and wellness, but these are two areas that we thought we would look at today. So I'm not a researcher, and so I'm just going to really briefly sort of explain what these two areas are looking at. So when we're talking about neuroplasticity, it's the ability of the brain to modify its connection and rewire itself. So in a nutshell, what we're meaning is that our bodies and our brains are incredible machines, and they do have the ability to go around damage. So if a neuron is damaged in a particular area of the brain, our bodies and brains do have the ability over time to learn how to go around that. Very similarly to if you're stuck in traffic, let's say, and you decide to take a detour. So essentially, our brains are able to detour around the damage. Now, it takes time for them to do that, and they're looking into ways of helping that happen, but individuals with MS do have the ability to have neuroplasticity. So when we're talking research and neuroplasticity, certainly they are looking at very extensive criteria, and they have very stringent areas that they're looking at, and that's because it's a research study. So they're wanting to know under very specific circumstances, how can we use this to our advantage? How can we encourage neuroplasticity? And so they are looking at intensive rehab, focusing on repetitive movements and high doses of task-specific training. Now, that isn't available to everybody. Not everyone can be a part of every research study. And so I think the takeaway here is to understand that our bodies do have the ability to reroute and go around damage that might have happened. And we do have the ability to do that. And by continuing to be active and moving in whatever way we can hopefully encourage our bodies to do that more readily. When we're talking about remyelination, if you remember, the T cells got in there and they attacked the myelin, causing demyelination. And so now we're looking to try and get those oligodendrocytes to reproduce new myelin, create new myelin, and hopefully recover from some of the damage or prevent further damage. So remyelination is common in individuals with MS, but it does, as it does with everybody, it varies from individual to individual. And it seems that the longer somebody has MS, there's a decline in the ability to remyelinate, as well as we age. So as we age, there's a reduction in our remyelination as we get older. But there is the possibility there to recover function or reduce some disability by leveraging remyelination. So in the research, what they found was that by increasing exercise, you can actually increase the number of mature oligodendrocytes that are in the brain and around those lesions. So remember, the oligodendrocytes are really slow at creating new myelin, but if there's more of them ready to do it and more of them at work doing it, then we may see an increase in remyelination through that. So that is what the research is showing is happening when we're increasing exercise. For future studies, they're going to look at, they've also alongside of the exercise been looking at different medications that also seem to increase those mature oligodendrocytes. So can they use a combination of medication and exercise to try and get a better bang for their buck, really? And then also what types of exercise, duration or intensity are more beneficial? They don't know as of yet. They just know that exercise shows that it increases those oligodendrocytes, which in theory can increase the remyelination that's happening. So what are the importance of physical activity? I mean, there's physical benefits to everyone being active, whether that's improved fitness levels, improved mobility, decrease in secondary illness, whether that's cardiovascular or something else, and prevention of potentially injuries over time, those kinds of things. So those benefits are going to be the same for individuals with MS as for individuals that maybe do not have MS. But certainly, if you do have MS, you may also see a decrease in muscle stiffness due to spasticity. You might see an overall reduction in disability over time. So there are definitely some added impacts for individuals to just remain physically active, even when living with MS. And then when it comes to, there's also a decrease in social isolation. Now, right now with virtual programming, you may have an argument there that we're not seeing as much of that as maybe we could be, but certainly the programs are opening up again. And as a whole, physical activity and programs tend to decrease social isolation. But we also see some psychosocial impacts, which, improve self-esteem, self-worth, those kinds of things where we just feel better about ourselves when we are more active. And then I said fatigue would come up a few times throughout this presentation. And so physical activity is also showing to help decrease MS fatigue. Now, it doesn't mean that you should go out there and run a mile and that's going to help you out. If that's not where you're at right now, that's actually going to increase your fatigue. However, if you know that, and you're able to work up to more exercise, then over time, that added exercise, that added movement and physical activity can actually help to decrease the fatigue over time. And then we also spoke about the neuroprotection and repair aspect that is showing to be available with more physical activity. So, when talking about daily physical activity, it doesn't have to be the structured swim class, yoga class, fitness class that you might take at the local gym. It can be, and certainly we get exercise from regular activities that we do every day potentially, or we do from time to time, whether that's gardening, housework, yard work, shoveling snow, walking the dog, those kinds of things. These are all going to add and increase our physical activity levels and are all really important to incorporate into our lifestyles as we move forward. Now, keeping in mind as well that if you do have both, physical activity in your daily life that are more gardening and housework and those kinds of things, and then you also have some more structured exercise programs, you may not want to be bunching them up. So you have company coming over on the weekend. Friday may not be the time to do your exercise class and your dusting and vacuuming and all of those things. Giving yourself some grace to understand that those are also activities that could potentially increase fatigue over time, and then you may just not enjoy the social activity happening the next day. There's other ways as well that are not structured to include activity into your day-to-day life, whether that is taking the stairs instead of the elevator, whether it's parking the car further away in the parking lot, walking the dog for an extra walk, playing with the children or grandchildren, whatever that might be for you. I know for me, certainly since working from home, I'm not, going on that lunch hour walk as often as maybe I should. So I have been trying to take the stairs more. And maybe it's, during the commercial break on your favorite TV show, getting up off the couch and walking around the kitchen, or doing some extra stretches in your chair, whatever that might be, to just increase your activity levels just a little bit throughout each day. So there's lots of different benefits of more structured activities as well. Swimming, yoga, resistance training, aerobic fitness, and they all have different benefits associated with them. One of the common ones across this for MS is the decrease in fatigue. And then it would depend, if you're looking to take a more structured class, it's going to depend on both your ambition and what you want to be taking, as well as maybe the benefit that you're looking for. If you're looking to be more flexible, then maybe you're looking at Tai Chi or yoga. If you're looking to enhance strength or increase ambulatory function, then you might be looking at more swimming or resistance training, aerobic class, things like that. So, and you can certainly discuss this with your professionals in your life who may be able to help you decide what program might best suit the benefit that you're looking for overall. So back in 2012, there were some guidelines that were created for adults living with MS between the ages of 18 and 65. Now, they looked particularly at individuals with minimal to moderate disability and came up with some guidelines that they felt would best suit the needs of individuals, keep them moving, continue to have the overall benefits of physical activity for those living with MS. So those guidelines are fairly simple, but they're what we want to strive for. They're not necessarily going to be available to everybody today, but ultimately it's what you want to strive for down the road to try and maybe get to, if it's possible for you. And again, it may not be possible for everybody living with MS to get to this. I think the key takeaway here is that you're looking to increase whatever activity you've been able to do till now. If you're able to increase that a little bit, there are greater benefits to that. So the guidelines in a nutshell just simply say that you're looking to get 30 minutes of aerobic activity 2 times per week, and strength training exercises for major muscle groups 2 times per week. Now, we say strive for this. I mean, if all you're able to do at the moment is 10 minutes, maybe you can split that 10 minutes up and do 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the afternoon, if that's possible, and then build from there. So whatever you're able to do now, you want to build up to this if you can. Now, certainly if you're exceeding this, there is nothing wrong there either. As much, doing the physical activity that you are able to and is available to you is what we're looking for. So here's that fatigue again. It's back. So fatigue and then also heat sensitivity do play a major factor in individuals' maybe motivation and ability to get out and do activity and exercise. And there are some ways to sort of combat that. So with fatigue, it needs to be a balance reached between, okay, I'm tired, or I'm excessively tired and I'm then tired for the 3 days following my exercise program. Well, then the potential is that you overdid it. And that isn't going to help to decrease the fatigue. And it isn't going to help you to continue on a route of maybe increasing your activity level. So it needs to be done very consciously as you move through. And it's the idea that if you push yourself just a little bit more over time, and I'm not saying, one day you did 10 minutes, the next day you're doing 15, and the day after that 20, it may take a month or two to move up in those increments. But over time, you're looking to increase the amount of time that maybe you're able to remain active, and that can help to decrease the fatigue. As well, it may be a matter of changing activities within your exercise regime. So if you're finding that you're getting fatigued one day from maybe some cardio, you take a break, do some strength training, and maybe go back to the cardio at the end of your exercise routine. The other key thing here can be heat sensitivity. So a lot of individuals with MS are heat sensitive, and that's an increase in body temperature of as little as 1 degree. So if you can keep that body temperature down, you can help to avoid some of the excessive fatigue that might come with exercise, and you can help to avoid some of those symptoms that might also flare when exercising. And so there's lots of ways to do that. Maybe you're able to exercise in an air-conditioned environment. That may be the ideal, but if it's not, maybe there's a fan available to you. Do you have a cooling product, a cooling vest or a scarf? Can you just run a towel under some cold water and put that around your neck, trying to keep your body temperature down in whatever way you can? So I alluded to symptoms flaring if you over fatigue or overheat your body. And this is sometimes referred to as a pseudo relapse. And it's a temporary worsening of MS symptoms that you had before. So if you had an attack that affected your vision, perhaps, and maybe your ability to get up and down, your gait, that kind of thing, a pseudo relapse might flare those symptoms. You might see an increased challenge or in getting out of the chair or blurred vision. And these can be brought on by exercising if you overheat the body or overdo it. And so if you do find it isn't an inflammation, new inflammation, it's not new disease activity, and it will likely resolve on its own after a few hours, or potentially how badly you cause them to flare could take a day or two, but it will resolve on its own, and there is no treatment required for it. But it's good for you to maybe acknowledge what maybe triggered that. So did you overdo it or overheat your body and cause that pseudo relapse or that flare? And maybe next time trying to avoid that by watching that more carefully for yourself when you're exercising. So to avoid MS symptoms while being active, so certainly knowing your own limits and not exceeding them, you are the person that knows your body best. So even if that trainer is pushing you to do that little bit more and you know that, no, that's not in your best interest, speaking up, making sure that they know that you are the one that knows your body best. Where you can, wear light clothing, use cooling products, and exercise or do movement in a cooler environment. Do what you can to avoid overheating and don't overdo it. Certainly ask questions. See if there's modifications to an exercise, whether that is in a structured class where you're asking the instructor who's right there, or if you are exercising at home using your medical team, maybe there's a physiotherapist who's a part of that team that you can also ask to say, I'm struggling with this. Is there a modification for that? And lastly, if you are in an MS attack or just coming out of one or that kind of thing, take a break and give your body a break. Your body's already under stress. It is okay to take that break during those times. Wait until those symptoms subside, and then you can get back into that regular routine. Remembering that that regular routine might need to be cut back a little bit. You may not be able to go back into your exercise routine at the same level and for the same intensity and duration of time as perhaps you were doing before. And that's okay. You can work back up to where you were at or find that new normal of where it's going to be. The importance is to, get back to it when you can and when you're able, and just keep moving with whatever you've got. So that's it for me. And I know I gave you a lot of information in a really short period of time. This is only a small amount of the information that is out there around movement and exercise or physical activity and exercise. So we did put together a reference sheet, which of resources and links that you can use to get more information. And you'll receive this reference sheet at the end of this session. You'll get an email, and it'll include your survey for the webinar as well as this reference sheet for you to look at. So you don't need to take down any of the links that will be coming up in Carla's presentation either, because you will receive those links in that reference sheet. So now I'll pass you over to Carla, and she's going to talk to you more about some of the more formal exercise programs that are available and opportunities that are out there, and maybe things to think about if you're planning to, go back out to the gym and that kind of thing, or get back out into the community. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Nancy. That was a lot of great information. And as Nancy shared with you, I can share some of our partnership programs that we are hosting with the MS Society at this time. As Nancy said, my name is Carla Holton. I am a coordinator with the program delivery team. And wellness has always really been an important part of what I've done with the MS Society. I think it impacts me in hearing the great stories from individuals sharing, how important these programs are for health and overall quality of life. As we heard from Nancy, regular movement is truly important. And I'd like to share some of the great programs that are running in 2022. The three main partnership programs I'm going to be touching on today are Time at Home, which is a standing exercise class. We have NeuroSask, which is a seated exercise class. And we have Yoga for Everybody, which is a seated yoga class. The first program I would love to share with you today is Time at Home. TIME is an acronym for Together in Movement in Exercise. In 2021, the MS Society of Canada, in partnership with Toronto Rehab, presented a virtual exercise program. Due to the pandemic, we knew that it was going to be very vital for us to add to our virtual offerings for our MS community. In 2022, the MS Society has continued to facilitate the Time at Home program. Time at Home is hosted twice weekly with the help of our wonderful volunteer facilitators. The Time at Home program is a free online exercise program with an hour-long exercise session followed by a half-hour social. Working with clinical experts and researchers, the Time at Home virtual program was designed to closely replicate the in-person time program, which was hosted at Toronto Rehab, to ensure that our participants were receiving those similar benefits. The MS Society runs our sessions from anywhere from 6 to 12 weeks, and each session has 2 levels. In the first half, you will see the level 1 video. Level 2 is then shown at midpoint to allow participants to select the higher challenge levels for the tasks they're ready for. This is done to replicate the in-person program. In both the level 1 and level 2 video, there are 2 separate challenge levels, allowing participants to choose a level that best suits their ability. So when you register and are participating, choose the level that meets your needs for that day. Some days you may be able to do the more challenging level, and other days it may be too much. The benefits that individuals have seen in the Time at Home program are they feel stronger, There's some better balance and overall increase in health. We had some really great results from our surveys in 2021. We heard from participants that this online program was very beneficial, especially during this time of COVID. One individual shared, thank you for offering a way for me to keep active while staying home safe. And another individual shared the benefits of this program beyond the pandemic, stating, I'm a rural resident, and if this program was only offered in person, I would not be able to attend. So as you can see, this is the advantage of virtual programs. They make it accessible to people in communities all across Canada. In the half-hour social that is hosted after the hour-long exercise program that is facilitated by our volunteers, we offer an informal place to talk with others. Some days the social has a set theme which addresses topics that occur when individuals are living with MS, and some days it's incredibly informal with people just sharing their day-to-day lives. One person shared their comments on the social. Very interesting discussions, a lot of useful information and a lot of laughs, which is usually life's best medicine. This program's been really beneficial, but our social part has been really important as well. We are really pleased to be able to move forward into 2022 and offer this program for the rest of the year. If you are interested in the Time at Home program, registration for the spring session running April 25th to June 23rd will be open on April 1st. And as Nancy shared, those links will be shared in the resource package sent out at the end of this presentation. The next program I'd like to share with you is NeuroSask. NeuroSask is a Saskatchewan-led initiative through the University of Saskatchewan's College of Medicine in collaboration with the MS Society of Canada. This is another program that was initiated in response to the pandemic. The NeuroSask program offers a 30-minute active portion every Tuesday and Thursday at 2 p.m. Saskatchewan time. The active portion is a seated movement class led by a physiotherapist focused on alignment, seated postural control, body awareness, range of motion, muscle activation with some resistance trainings and bouts of cardio sprinkled throughout. On Tuesday, following the active portion of the session, individuals can stay online and attend a stretching class. This can help with range of motion, pain, and spasticity management. Thursday's active portion of the session is followed by a Connect session. This session is a 30-minute session with a guest expert on health and wellness topics. Some topics that have been covered in the Connect portion are transportation and driving for neurological conditions, brain health, and balance and postural control. So as you can hear, there's some really great topics that are covered that go along with this great exercise program. NeuroSask is a program that individuals can register for anytime. There's no set session, and this can be used as a drop-in session. This free online program has been a really important part of our wellness offerings and will continue to run for all of 2022. The last partnership that I will speak about today is Yoga for Everybody. This seated yoga program ran as a pilot at the end of 2021, and due to the great success of this program, we have funded it for 2022. Currently, there is a winter session running until April 8th. There will also be an offering of a spring, summer, and fall session. This program is a little bit more unique from the other two in the case that if you cannot attend the online class, the yoga instructor sends out links to watch the video for that session. The video is shared for 1 week until the next class happens the following Friday. So this is a great program to register for people who maybe can't attend that session and have a really busy schedule, or if you really enjoyed the class and you would just like to do the exercises again at your convenience. Yoga for Everybody was established with the idea that everyone's practice should feel challenging but yet safe. The program is based in a chair. These modifications give you a variety of movement options that best suit you and your needs. Registration for the current session is now closed, but the wonderful news is that registration for the spring session will be open on April 1st. Registration for this program, just like the others, is free. Individuals can go to that website for more information or sign up for the Naturally Good Vibes newsletter to hear about future offerings or future seated yoga dates. And of course, beyond the MS Society's partnerships, there's other avenues to look for wellness programs. One way is to research your local community. Ask around. If you know other individuals who are living with MS, ask them if they are attending other programs. Of course, our local health authorities often have free programs that are available. And so it may be a great idea to talk to some of your health professionals about programs that they may know that exist. And another place that we have gone to is fitness centers. I know in the last 2 years that, it's maybe been a little bit tougher and a little more comfortable to stay at home. But as things open up, we may be looking to go out to those centers to find programs that are beneficial to our well-being. There can be many reasons why it can be difficult to get active. We may not have programs that are of interest in our community. We might find that the center that we would like to go to is not accessible. It might be quite expensive, or we don't have the transportation to get there. Sometimes it's a schedule conflict. We work or we have other appointments during that time. And sometimes it's a matter of you just simply don't feel comfortable. It can be daunting to find the right place to go. With the virtual programs, there is a wide variety, and you can access these programs in the comfort of your own home. There are programs that run each day, and it is a safe environment with no cost. But thankfully, we have options. Whether you choose a virtual program or a program outside in your local fitness center, it's always best to remember what is the best choice for you. So now as things are maybe getting a little better and things are opening up, many people are thinking to go back to their regular fitness facility to add to their virtual offerings from home. But what should you look for in a fitness facility? It is really, really important to pick a fitness center that will be accessible and has equipment that can adjust to meet your needs. When researching a center, I suggest calling and booking an appointment with a staff member of this fitness facility. Take the time, look at the equipment you'd like to use. Will you be able to get on? And does it meet your needs? And it's really good at this time to determine, are you going to be able to maneuver around the equipment, and is the facility truly accessible? When speaking with staff about their exercise programs, many facilities will have a wide range of classes for different abilities and fitness levels. Even certain classes that do not advertise they are adapted will often welcome people to attend and can make those adaptations. Just simply having open conversations with staff is always really helpful. Another important part of choosing the right fitness facility is to feel welcome and safe. Often individuals living with MS provide the most information to those professionals at fitness facilities to best help them support a comfortable and accessible environment. Never hesitate to share suggestions or ideas to make a space and programs more accessible. Sometimes it could be something as simple as the room where you have a program in is too hot. Letting those professionals know, listen, the room is way too hot, can get them to turn that heat down right before that program starts for you to make it more comfortable for you. Encourage the staff at your fitness center to ask advice from other professionals who have more experience working with individuals living with MS. And when you're in a class or in a program, let the instructor know if something is just not working, if an exercise is too difficult. Don't push your limits. You truly are the one person who knows your body the best. When starting a new program, it's always so important to speak with your physician. There may be a prior injury or an MS symptom that would be a reason not to start a new exercise program. And they may have some really good recommendations on a exercise program for you. But as you know, in most activities we do in life, you are not going to participate and attend regularly if it isn't something you enjoy. If you don't like the water, then maybe an aquatic program isn't for you. Thankfully, there's some choices when it comes to fitness programs. Another great tip to make these programs more fun is to invite someone you enjoy hanging out with. I think when we all have fitness buddies, we tend to be more accountable and more apt to attend regularly. And most importantly, have fun. Enjoy the programs. Get to know the other people participating. This is a great place to meet new friends. Some of the realities of living with MS is individuals can have lower levels of fitness, but you can make that decision to have a more active lifestyle. As for everyone, if you don't use it, you can lose it, but you can choose to get moving and add regular fitness to your life. There have been numerous studies that show the regular forms of physical activity are beneficial for individuals living with MS. Regular activity can help manage MS symptoms and can provide overall better health. As Nancy shared earlier, there are many studies that show fitness can promote neuroplasticity and remyelination. Participating in any physical activity is so important in improving quality of life. I hope that today we shared some information that you can take away from you. As Nancy shared, all of this information with the resources will be emailed to you in the follow-up email. So, I hope you all take a time and moment to do some further research into the programs that we shared and the information we shared today. I want to thank you for letting me come and share some of the options that are available for movement and fitness. By taking the time to make the best choice for you, you will start your way to find a program that you really, truly enjoy and will be beneficial and that you'll be able to attend regularly. I would love to end my portion of this presentation by sharing a quote that I recently saw. The quote was from Jim Ryan. "Motivation is what gets you started, and habit is what keeps you going." Thanks so much for your time today.
Hi, so I think we do have a few questions here, and I'm just going to try and take a look at them. So there is somebody bringing up a few of the things that comes up when we talk about barriers and that kind of thing. Mentioning that they're no longer able to take part in the activities that perhaps they used to take part in and enjoyed, and now their fatigue and and MS symptoms and things are getting in the way of them being able to get out there and enjoy those. And then they're also going on to say that how can they get involved in our programs? How do they know what is the right program for them and is going to help with their symptoms or challenges? So, I mean, when it comes to having that activity that you really enjoyed no longer being accessible to you, it may mean trying to search to find that new activity. And maybe that is finding somebody to go with you, or maybe it is looking at something that might be the same. There are also many sports out there that have been adapted, and there may be an adapted program out there that might meet your need if it is a particular sport that you used to take part in. But I do think it comes down to you making that decision that you're going to, and then looking to try and find an activity that is going to meet that, and finding that I guess desire to get out there and do it, and wherever that comes from. And then when it comes to attending our programs, there are descriptions on the website that you can follow through those links that will give you a little bit of an idea of the activity level that maybe is best suited for beginning one of those programs. And so that might be a good place to start. We're also happy to, talk to you about whether or not a program might best suit your needs, just based on we can give you an idea of what is expected in those programs. But when it comes to whether or not a particular program would be right for you or meet what you're asking for, it's really your health professional that you need to be reaching out to. So whether that is a discussion with somebody at one of the MS clinics, or maybe you have, like I say, a physiotherapist or family doctor, or somebody who can give you a little bit of an idea of what would best help you to move forward in whatever it is. And it does come down to what it is you're hoping to get out of that. Is it better balance? Is it more flexibility? Those kinds of things. But really, your medical team is going to be the place to start with that. And we would always sort of recommend or say that if you are going to start a new physical activity routine, that you start there. Start with checking in with your medical team to ensure that you are in a good place to do a program and that it is going to meet your needs. I know that doesn't really answer the question, but because it comes down to finding that new program that you really enjoy. Carla, do you want to take the next two?
Sure. So this one is asking about working until, a certain time every day, right? And can be difficult to attend these virtual programs. So that's where the yoga program would be a really good suggestion. Unfortunately, the time at home videos are under a licensing agreement and cannot be widely shared and just are shared during that video time. But the yoga program is a really good place to start. It is recorded. So if you do attend and you are not able to attend during that time, the video is shared. So that's where I would, suggest people start with a program like that. And, you can watch it as many times as you want. So if you enjoy it and you want to do it, over the weekend, again, during the week, you're getting in that activity, 2 or 3 times a week, as many times as you would like. And then, of course, someone had asked, are all the programs free? They are. So the 3 MS partnership programs that I spoke about today are absolutely no cost to individuals who register. These are funded by the MS Society of Canada.
The next few questions that I see are actually very similar, and they're all looking to ask about programming in local areas, like what's available in Winnipeg, what's happening in Calgary, what is happening in my local area. And the reality is, I don't know that we know anymore, right? The world got turned upside down, and a lot of what maybe existed doesn't exist. And so we are working to rebuild that, to hopefully be able to have options in programming. But what it will take, what I encourage you to do if you are looking for a program, I mean, certainly the larger facility centers, the recreation center for Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg likely still exists and the doors are open. And so those programs may still be there, and it might be a matter of reaching out to find out what they have that might be adapted. If it was a smaller program that perhaps you attended in the last time, again, I mean, I'd be reaching out, but it may not be there. And we're in a unique situation right now where, as the MS Society, where maybe before we did have some of that knowledge of, where you could go in a local area, we're finding that we maybe don't have that as much. So we are looking to try and rebuild that, and we are looking to add to our wealth of knowledge. And we encourage you guys, and if you know of a really good program, have them reach out and give us some information about it. And if we can add it and then share it, we are happy to do that so that other people can get that information as well. And on that note, in this line of things, for anyone in St. Catharines, somebody is saying that the Brock University has a wonderful program, and equipment and things that are adapted and things like that. So, I mean, you guys are going to be a source of information for us moving forward. You always were, but maybe now more so. And so, yes, if you do know about that wonderful program in your community, we are happy to hear about those. And a part of what the information that you'll get in that reference sheet is the wellness email address. And you can certainly send those there. And we would be happy to have a look at them and then see how we can share those programs out to inform others. Yeah. I'm not sure that we can share the YouTube videos that are tied to the time email. So somebody is clearly attending the time program. And as a part of that program, Toronto Rehab did put together a selection of YouTube videos that they had sort of looked at, vetted, and felt that were good resources for people. We would have to double check that we're able to share those videos more widely, but certainly if you do attend the time program, you would receive those YouTube videos. And that's something that we can look into and then see how we might be able to share out those links, because yes, there are definitely some good programs there that are also online. To reach NeuroSask, you can do that through their website. And so when you get the reference sheet, there is a link on that page to the NeuroSask website. If alternatively you're wanting to access it through our website, I would encourage you to go to the mssociety.ca website, and you can just go straight to the search bar and type in NeuroSask, and it will come up there, and then you can follow that link as well and register online through them. I do believe there is also a phone number on there to call if you had further questions about their program, but for registering, the link would be on that webpage.
Great. Thanks, Nancy and Carla. That was really informative this afternoon. Lots of great information. And I have done the NeuroSask program on a number of occasions. So yeah, really great resource out there. Thank you. We've come to the end of our time for questions. Again, we've recorded this session. It will be available on the YouTube channel soon with French subtitles added. We want to remind you about the MS Knowledge Network, which is staffed by trained navigators who provide information and support. You can connect by phone, email, or live chat through the MS Society's website. We also want to encourage you to get involved with our programs, services, events, and volunteer opportunities. These days, connecting with each other is more important than ever. We also encourage you to visit wechallengems.ca to learn about how you can help to raise funds which are needed to maintain our research commitments, advocacy tips, programming for those affected by MS. Very soon, you will receive a survey by mail about today's webinar, and we encourage you to fill it out. All the information collected will let us know if today's discussion was valuable to you and what topics you would like to see covered in the future. It will only take a couple of minutes, and your feedback will go a long way to help us when planning for future educational sessions. Thank you for tuning in today. Goodbye.